to the Thursday show, my friends. We are back once again to make sense of the week that was. Yes, this is a week where there have been vaccine shortages. That's because of stuff that happened over in India, of course. But I give it 2 days before the Sun blame Meghan Markle. I don't see why there's such a problem with the vaccine rollout. If anything, I think we should step up to the mark. I think Jamie Oliver should whip up a batch. I mean, he's always talking about how we can make something out of nothing, which is something that my girlfriend does very well as well. And she is Irish. See where it goes? Because this week we have a wonderful special themed show in honor of St. Patrick's Day. It was St. Patrick's Day. That was yesterday, where we celebrate the patron saint of COVID, Sir Patrick Vallance. We, of course, had Christmas Day for Professor Chris Whitty. So it's only fair that we celebrate that. I am, of course, joking. St. Patrick's Day is, of course, when St. Patrick came and ridded Ireland of all the snakes. The only problem is they're now all in the British Parliament. But as ever, it's not only me on this show, it is my two illustrious co-hosts. So without further ado, let's get to it. Let's welcome the wonderful Jay Sodagar. Which way is it going to be? Which way is it going to be? It's that way.
That way. He's going to swap it. He's going to swap it. You know he's going to do it.
He's not going to do it. How are you?
I'm very well. I'll be honest with you though. Lockdown has got to me a little bit. I need social contact. So I'm thinking of applying for a job with the Football Association because apparently they're a bit touchy. Anything will do right now. And I read in the news that Paris has gone into lockdown. And I don't think that's to do with COVID. I think it's just because they're French. And it's just better for everybody if they just stayed at home, kind of thing. But no, I'm joking. Lockdown has affected me. I do feel like a princess from Dubai right now. I've been locked in my house for a week. I'm brown. I can say these things. It's fine. If anyone wants to buy a vaccine, because some of my cousins who make the vaccine, got loads. I got loads. I'll sell it. £5. Done. Sorted. I actually left the house today. And went out for a bit of a walk just because. This is a prison. I kind of just why not? And I live in a very posh area. I live in St Albans, and it's a very, very white area. And I met our local drug dealer. It was so sweet. It was an Asian guy, called Abdul. So do you know what I mean? I think tonight's show should be sponsored by Abdul. But anyway. But yeah, no. He if anyone is interested, he occupies the 4th tree next to the bandstand at Verulian Park. Just so if anyone wants to do that. But no, it's been good. But yeah, no. This is a little known fact about me. My parents sent me for elocution lessons when I was very young. This is very true, because do I sound a bit posh or slightly?
You speak proper.
I exactly. There you go. I think my parents were a bit worried because they wanted to be typical middle class Asian parents, so they kind of didn't want me to sound like a dick, basically. When I was younger, I grew up in East London. So I was kind of I just sounded like that, innit, bruv? Do you get me though? Yeah, you get me. And over the course of this week, I've been watching the news, and I started to think that the news was actually starting to get a bit street because they kept talking about blood clots. And you're from South London. I was like, and you do sound very posh. You do sound very, 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 well to do and everything. Do you know what a blood clot is, by the way?
I actually, yeah, I love how you say you're from South London. Look at me sitting here in a jacket, having just watched Grand Designs dipping hummus, and I'm like, I'm proper street. You know, my dialect sounds like if Sarah Pascoe and Russell Brand had a child with learning difficulties. Like I just have I'm just scrawly, but I don't know nothing. What's a blood clot?
It's basically a sanitary towel. That's what it is. It's a sanitary towel. So I've been sitting there, kind of like watching news, and sort of like they were saying that some people who've taken the AstraZeneca vaccine have developed blood clots, and like the first person I talked about was a bloke. I was like, wow, shit's progressed nowadays. The world has evolved, but.
Don't turn into J.K. Rowling.
But bless, it's been a good week. It's been a good week.
Brilliant. Well, yeah, been good. 5 out of 10. I went into. I'll tell you my thing about lockdown is I've been watching old episodes of the news just to relax. It's a lot nicer just listening to about Palestine and Saddam Hussein. I don't want to, if anyone hasn't got that far yet, I won't do any spoilers, but it don't end well. Yet another statue that's being torn down. But it's not only me and Vlad, it is all of you out there. So please keep those wonderful comments coming. Thank you so much to Nick, to Joe, to Sarah, and of course Christy Shields, who gives us a nice look ahead by saying, looking forward to Michael Redmond. Well, we all are too. But it is not just me and Jay. We've got to welcome the third musketeer. Please welcome to our virtual stage the wonderful Vladimir McTavish.
Yes, here we are. You may, any viewers who saw last week's show might remember I started cutting my hair on the show, and this is the finished job. That's it. Actually did all that myself.
Very good. Very good.
It's how I describe this look is it's a Zoom haircut. So it kind of, you can get away with it at the front, but looks absolutely shit at the back.
Is that because after 40 minutes people start switching off and
yeah. I'm not paying for the unlimited time. How it works is I actually go bald after 40 minutes. So here we are. It is our Irish show.
Yes.
And in Irish news, I don't know, shocking news that I heard today. I don't know if you heard this, that very sad. Shane McGowan from the Pogues is still alive. How the fuck's he managed that?
You can't say stuff like that. What happens if you exit while we're on air? You are going to be suspect number one.
He'll live forever. Him and the Duke of Edinburgh. Hell, I don't know. It was amazing to see the fuss the BBC made out of one person leaving hospital. Hang on. How about the 120,000 people who haven't left hospital over the last year? Isn't that more of the story? Anyway, here in Scotland, we have been promised our roadmap out of lockdown, and things will be back to normal in June. So in June, in Scotland, things will be back to normal. People will no longer be dying of COVID. They'll be dying in the normal Scottish ways of heart attacks, gangland-related hits, and stabbings.
Hey.
Yes. Also, Dominic Cummings this week described the NHS as a smoking fire, mainly because his mates got the contract to provide the paraffin. That is pretty much. And Jay, you alluded to the investigation into child abuse, historical child abuse in English football. And up here in Scotland, we've had a similar study this week into historical child abuse at a number of prestigious Scottish boarding schools. And they found that there was a series of abuse that teachers in Scottish boarding schools in the 60s and 70s, various cases of sexual abuse of pupils, including Fettes College in Edinburgh, which is where Tony Blair went to school. So I would just say this to any teachers in boarding schools who might be watching this show: if you wank off that child now, in 30 years' time, they could start an illegal war on the other side of the world. So make that should be on your conscience.
Right, when we pitched this show, I said we were going for highbrow, satirical, have I got news for you? Fucking wank jokes, wishing Sinead O'Connor's died or whatever his name is.
That was Shane McGowan. Fucking hell. It wasn't wishing him dead, it was I'm amazed he's alive. Well, I think Shane McGowan is fucking brilliant. I'm glad he's alive. I'm just can't believe it. But on the subject of people who might have been sexually abused at boarding school, the Prime Minister Boris Johnson this week announced his new foreign policy, what Britain's trade policy is going to be. So instead of trading with countries that are very difficult to get to, like Ireland and France, because it's far too difficult to do that, we're going to trade with much more close-back neighbours such as Singapore and Australia. And India, places we decided 60 years ago we don't want to trade with these people anymore. But he also says, on top of that, he's going to strengthen Britain's nuclear deterrent. We're all going to feel a lot safer. He's going to stockpile nuclear weapons, not in England, obviously, they'll be up here in Scotland, in case something nasty happens. But yes, he says that the country will be much safer if we increase our nuclear capability. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole debate about whether nuclear weapons make us safer or not. I mean, I'm on the side that they don't, in the way that you're much more likely to be stabbed if you're carrying a knife. I think if you get a nuclear missile, you're much more likely to get bombed. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Even if you're in favour of nuclear weapons, whatever your opinion is, do you feel safe with this man's finger on the button?
Brilliant.
What could possibly go wrong? Yeah, so do you feel safe? Of course you don't.
Well, bringing on sexual abuse, death, and nuclear holocaust. That was Vladimir McTavish. We're now going to welcome on our guests, both of whom I hope have not been sexually molested at school. But before we do, don't forget that this show is free to watch. It's not free to make. If you can be so kind as to donate, it's underneath there. It's not too late to donate. PayPal.me/freefest online. Vlad, is that how you'd introduce these people? Hopefully they've never been nuclear bombed or they're not dead.
I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, mate.
Well, our first guest, we are so pleased. You might have seen him on Brass Side. You might have seen him on Brass Side, Stuart Lee's comedy vehicle, or of course Father Stone in Father Ted. We know and love him as Michael Redmond, but let's see a bit of a clip of him in action.
How you doing? I'm not from Glasgow, by the way, but I have lived in Scotland. I've lived in Scotland for about 20 years, and the Scots and the Irish are quite similar in a lot of ways, aren't we? Very similar, yeah. But there is one thing I notice you have in Scotland, which we don't have in Ireland. Dundee. I was coming out of the supermarket last Tuesday, and there was this woman tying her dog to a lamppost before she went into the supermarket. And she was actually saying, this is actually word for word, she was saying to her dog, "Now you be a good boy, Timmy, and don't cause any trouble. I'm just going into the supermarket to buy some stuff from the deli counter, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes." And I thought, if this dog is clever enough to know the difference between buying basic provisions in a supermarket or stuff from the deli counter, I would actually know when to start tut-tutting if the owner didn't arrive back after 2 minutes. I thought, this is a clever bloody dog, you know. So I stole him. Life's too short, you can't muck about, can you?
It's an absolute pleasure to welcome on the show the marvellous, the one and only Michael Redmond.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, Michael, great to see you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, yes. I was listening to you talking about, interesting, you talking about Shane McGowan, that he's still alive. I actually don't think he is alive. I think he's dead, but he's just too pissed to realise it.
Yeah. So you're. I take it you're still in Glasgow. You've been here for
yeah.
Because you, I think you must have done one of the longest running live shows anywhere. Ever since the venue opened, you hosted every single Sunday night at the Glasgow Strand, is it?
Yeah, well, not quite since it's opened. I've been doing it for about must be about 23 years, I think. I think it'd been open a couple of years, I think, before that. They'd kind of tried a few different compares on and off, but yes, since I've been doing it for about 23 years, almost every Sunday. Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, I was just working out. That's about 1,000 shows, isn't it?
I know, yeah. I still get nervous. Doing it though. It's weird because you know when you compare, you just don't know. I mean, most of the time, I mean, I have a kind of a cult following there, so I can kind of usually get away with sort of chatting and mucking about, but you still never know. Sometimes you just don't know beforehand if it's going to go, you know, because I very rarely have any material prepared for it. Because no, don't
yes,
do that.
I want to start, Michael. That's the thing, because it's every week, so you must get a lot of the same people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I can't go on. I can't even go on and improvise the same way. I have to kind of do different improvisations each time because it's not the same. It's not the same people every week, but as soon as you get a lot of sort of return audiences,
Yeah, where are you from? Same place I was from last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fuck off and tell me a joke. Yeah.
You have been. I mean, I've been doing this for years, but you have been around for a long time before I started. Is it over 30 years you've been? Yeah,
I started in London in 1987, I think it was. So that'll be when we lost 13.
Yeah, because you did a show, didn't you? An Edinburgh show. Was that 2017? I'm guessing.
Yeah. The one where I said I wrote a joke in 1987. Yeah, that was actually true. Yeah.
What a great show. I wrote a joke.
But I actually went to London with one joke. That was true. Yeah, just one joke. That's all I had. Yeah.
Can you still remember it?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I still use it. In fact, it's that like most people from Ireland, I was born a Catholic, which came as a bit of a shock to my parents who are both Protestants.
Right. Well, talking about this, I mean, it is an Irish show, and this is absolutely serious. It's really true. I'd always thought it was because I'm Glaswegian, and I grew up in, as you know, a very Irish city, isn't it?
Very.
Or good and ill. I mean, anytime I've been to Belfast, for example, I always felt, God, this is just so like Glasgow. People are friendly, but they hate each other at the same time.
Friendly, but also threatening.
Yeah. And of course, well, you're right in the middle of the city, and of course, we have the huge big football rivalry in Glasgow.
The thing is, the strange thing is that when I was growing up in Dublin, I wasn't really that aware of that because
it's more a northern thing, isn't it?
Yeah, more of a northern Irish thing. Yeah, I mean, I was aware of Celtic and Rangers, but I wasn't really that aware of the rivalry, the sort of the kind of.
Well, I mean, you only saw the scenes. Yeah, you saw the scenes 2 weeks ago. Rangers won the league first time. I'm a Celtic fan. Rangers won the league first time in 10 years and decided rather than do merchandising, they would just have a celebratory second wave of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good way
A
to go.
super spreader event in George Square.
There's probably much
No,
more
I find that, and this is weird because you're saying, "Oh, you've known all your life. You're Irish, right?"
Yeah.
I find out I'm a quarter Irish, at least, maybe even half Irish. I found that out when I was 44.
I think there's almost everybody around the world claims some. I'm not saying you're bullshitting, but I mean, particularly in America, like
it's an actually true story. My father, I was 44 when my dad died, and I didn't know that his natural mother was from County Antrim.
All right.
And
I found that at 44.
When I was 44, yeah, when me and because he never talked about it. He was adopted, and the person I thought was my grandmother apparently wasn't, and he'd been adopted, been born out of marriage in 1919, and which, you know, at the time, and his mother gets sent away to Glasgow, and which is where he was born, and it was only when me and my brother got his birth certificate when we had to go and register him, we found out, God, about a quarter Irish. Well, not only that, we don't know who my grandfather was, so we could be half Irish.
Indeed, yeah. Well, I'm actually just false. None of my family are Irish at all. We're all from Sri Lanka. I just put the accent on because it's very trendy these days.
Yeah. But in that, like 30, what? You're coming up for now 35 years doing this. Yeah. You must have done some weird gigs, because I think what a lot of people don't realise now, and you still get shabby gigs, is like, when the circuit started out, it wasn't as slick and professional as it is these days, really.
It wasn't, but I mean, in a way, when I started in London, it was a lot easier because they were all fairly sort of well organised gigs in London when I started, and it was only when it got a lot more popular that sort of people sort of saw, oh, I could just start a gig and I can make a fortune, which they can't obviously, but they just go to a gig and say, like, people who go to the Stand or Comedy Store, think, oh, this is easy. All I do is a microphone and a stand. And then you get people opening up gigs and they're just shit. But when I started in London, it was actually fine. Most of the gigs were really well organised, you know. And also, you didn't have to move out of London. I don't think. Right. You were there, in fact, as well. Yeah. And
I was in London from '95 to round about 2000.
Yeah.
Kind of 5 years.
I don't ever remember. I think I remember being in Newcastle once, but apart from that, all the gigs were in London. You know? And you could do 2 or 3 gigs a night if you wanted to. You know?
Yeah, and there's some fantastic gigs that aren't there anymore. I think I gigged with you. Yeah. One of my favourite London gigs, which was the Meccano in Islington.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Maybe you had that check suit on. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing about Meccano, I mean, I don't know how you managed it, mate, because you're a good deal taller than me.
I know, it's a tiny ceiling. That's right, yeah.
I could touch the ceiling.
I think I had to bend, actually, yeah. Yeah. But it was a great little gig, though, you know. There was also the Red Rose Club in Finsbury Park. That was a cracking gig. It was quite a few.
Yep. Oh, Red. That's right. Red Soul, Red Rose. Then it was Red Plymouth Soul. Some phenomenal gigs in those days. But you also very early on did telly, didn't you? I mean, you're best known, obviously. We'll talk about this.
I was very lucky in a way because the sort of nature of my act, and I was very sort of. All I did was just one-liners, and I would sort of do a one-liner, then pause and stare at the audience till they laughed. And for some reason, the comedy, I just went down really well in the Comedy Store. And Kim Kinney, do you remember Kim Kinney used the manager of the Comedy Store?
What a lovely man he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a beautiful man. Yeah, he kind of almost became my manager, but he really liked my acting because he was the manager of the Comedy Store. He almost booked me every second weekend, so I was kind of regarded as a sort of a Comedy Store regular within about a year. And that's where the TV people would go if they wanted to see one of the, you know, sort of.
You did Saturday Night Live, didn't you?
I think it was Friday Night Live then, yeah.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah. And then did Clive Anderson Talks Back and all the sort of trendy stand-up stuff. Yeah.
You and I mean, in the way that Scotland's a village, and the comedy business is a village. In terms of Scotland's a village, you used to... No, my daughter, right, who is a regular viewer of the show, she moved into the flat you used to live in.
That's right, yeah, in York Hill.
In Glasgow.
Right,
and she's got all this post from Michael Redmond.
She started freaking out.
And Julia used to work at Glasgow Standard, and here she is, Michael, I had your post, yeah.
Hey, Julia.
And please just take your post down to Standard on Sunday night.
Yeah, she was almost my postmistress, yeah.
But also, I didn't realise you did Clive Anderson Talks Back, because you did Father Ted. And
well, I wasn't interviewed on Clive. I just did a stand-up slot on it. I wasn't kind of.
Did you?
Because he used to do stand-up slots on it as well. Yeah.
Because the producer of Clive Anderson Talks Back was also the producer of the last 2 series of Father Ted. Was it Lisa Evans?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I don't remember her from Clive Anderson, but she wasn't there when I did the Father Ted thing. I did the first.
Oh, did you do the
second episode of the first series? So it was Jeffrey Perkins who was producing it then.
Because I was in a sketch show with her when we were both students in Newcastle.
Oh, really? Yeah. So yeah, I don't remember who was the producer at the time, but yeah, I presume it was her. Yeah.
Yeah, because I did my first TV as part of that sketch show. We did a show on Tyne's Television from the same studio that the Tube was recorded in.
Oh, really? Yeah.
It was presented by Muriel Gray, and to this day, myself and Muriel still share a haircut. And,
she won't like that. You want to watch your back when you're walking around Glasgow.
The Tube was a massive show, and this was the regional arts programme, and it didn't get the following the Tube got. And and this was back in the 80s when they still had the test card.
Yeah.
And one night, this show I was on with Muriel Gray and Lisa Evans on Tyne's Television got lower ratings than the test card did in BBC.
That was pretty demoralising, I'd say. That must be a first and last.
I know. Basically, more people couldn't be arsed turning off their television.
They changed over to the test card.
Yeah, we might as well watch this, like.
And was it any good, or was it just bad timing?
It was bad timing, and it was pretty shit, to be honest.
Oh, well, that is the thing about television, though. You don't really know until, when I was filming Father Ted, I had no idea, firstly that the series had never gone out on television anyway. But when you're filming, you don't know what the reaction is going to be when it goes out on television. You just think, it's not like doing stand-up where you get immediate feedback.
Yeah,
that's right. And you get feedback. But some of it was in the studio, some of it was filmed on location. So you've no idea whether it's going to be funny or not. It actually goes out on television.
Well, I remember
I
remember meeting Graham Linehan and Polly McLean at the old comedy cafe in Rivington Street in Shoreditch before the show came out. And they were saying, we're doing this. Ardal O'Hanlon was on the bill, and they come down to see Ardal. And so Graham's written this thing about priests. We don't know. Got to see. Always got. And of course now, absolutely legendary. And you still, 25 years, is it?
Still recognised, it's unbelievable, yeah. But I mean, you talked about that. The first I heard of it was I was doing a show in a stand-up show with Dylan Moran and Ardal O'Hanlon and somebody else, it was a kind of an Irish night of comedy in the Bloomsbury Theatre in London. And after the show, these two guys came up to me, which were Graham Linehan and Arthur Matthews, but I'd never met them, and they said they'd written this sitcom about 3 priests on a remote island in the west of Ireland, and they might have apart from me. I thought, sounds like a lot of shite. But about 6 months later, I got a call to sort of read the part of Father Stone. So the rest is history.
Do you still get recognised?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it. It's not kind of where it's unbearable, kind of where I'm stopped constantly in the street or anything like that. But I think it's one of those things if you're just walking along the street, you do get people who sort of do that quick look at you, but they don't immediately think that's Father Stone. They say, did I go to school with him, or did I work with him, or where do I recognize him from? You know, sometimes if you're in a pub and they have time to think about it, then you might occasionally get people coming up to you and asking for, you know, a selfie or something like that. But by and large, it's not really that intrusive. I don't mind, you know. It's better than being ignored, isn't it?
Well, talking of which, you've actually managed to make a bit of money during lockdown on the back of Father Stone.
Yes, I've actually made more money doing this than I did for the original fee for Father Stone. That's actually true.
Is it?
Yeah.
My God.
Because the fee was very low. I mean, I don't. Hat-trick mightn't be too pleased, but because none of us were all unknown really. I mean, even Dermot and Ardle and Frank Kelly and Pauline, they were in Britain. Nobody had heard of them, you know. So the fee was. And I don't know. Maybe as the series went on, they were probably able to negotiate better fees. But the first series, it was pretty low.
But yeah, listen, I might as well, because the fee for this show is virtually fuck all.
We're doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, we're doing it for it, and it is a donation. So do donate it. But you can contact Michael, and do a shameless plug for this now, Michael. Yeah, no, I'll hand it over to you.
Okay,
you can describe
if you have a friend who's sort of a fan of Father Stone, or even of my stand-up, I can send them a video on a site called irishify.com. That's IRISH as in Irish, IFY.com. And I'll send a video to them of sort of wishing them a happy birthday or happy anniversary or happy anything, happy divorce if they want.
Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
did you get many for yesterday?
I got 2 yesterday, yeah. You mean for Paddy's Day, yeah. I got a couple for Paddy's Day, yeah. And I got a few for Mother's Day as well, yeah. So it's kind of any occasion, really. You know?
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it's great, yeah. I'm not complaining. I've heard that, the guy that's on The In-Betweeners, Jay.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He apparently gets like 1,000 every month. He's on Cameo. He's not an Irishman, but yeah, I guess it's something like 1,000 every month for 40 or 50 quid a go. So you just live off that for the rest of his life. Yeah, I know it's unbelievable. I mean, I obviously don't get anything like that. I'm not quite that high profile, but if you want to, you can make a fortune if you're really well known. You know?
And you don't even need to leave the house.
No, exactly. You just hold up your phone and record a video and send it to Irishify. It's brilliant.
Brilliant. Listen, mate, we could talk for ages, but we've got we could talk for as long as a car journey to and from Campbelltown.
Yes, exactly.
That was 10 hours of our lives we'll never get back. No, stick around, Michael, because as you know, we'll be doing a few daft stunts and games later in the show. It's been a joy having you on the show. Ladies and gentlemen.
Great to talk to you, mate. Take care.
Cheers, Michael.
See you in a few minutes.
Thank you so much to the legendary Michael Redmond, who went down absolutely brilliant. Thank you to Liam Green Jacket, who was saying huge applause there. Also giving a little shout out to the Michael Legg podcast. Thank you to Christy, who says that she loves this chat show much, as well as JC Spades, as well as Emily and Leanne and Hamad says, happy St. Patrick's Day. Well, you know what? It's not only the wonderful Michael Redmond that we have got on this show. For you, we have got a writer for the News Quicks, for News Chat, Dead Ringers, The Last Leg, 8 out of 10 Cats. All you need to know is that she's absolutely brilliant. If you don't believe me, then have a look at this.
While I'm on stage, I hope this is okay, I'm going to be practicing my flirting with you. Ooh. Wink. So can I just check in? Consent? 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 Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. By the way, I will be flirting with men and women. Because I was a lesbian once. I was a lesbian once for a whole term at university. A whole term. And then, I swear this is true, I went home for my summer holidays. I just forgot. I just forgot. Oh, well, that ship has flown, am I right? Because you, sex expert, will know this. I didn't know this. Being gay is a lot like speaking a foreign language. You don't use it, you lose it. So, stuck with men. Ugh. I have to practice my flirting, mainly because this is my face. This is my face, guys. Now, I'm aware my face is as Irish as a head can handle. I've been told that by a doctor. If my face gets any more Irish, it'll just be a potato wearing a wig. That is my future.
Oh, I love potatoes. I love potatoes. But ladies and gentlemen, this is an absolute pleasure. She's a very good friend of mine. Please give it up for the lovely Grainne Maguire.
Jay, I had such PTSD listening back to that. Because what you need to know is the audience, they were filming it. The whole thing was like, we're going to do this gig to film all your sets. The audience was full of just like 20 of the frostiest, coldest, like hipster London people you could imagine. And it's going through my head the whole time. I was like, this is being filmed. This is so much fun. I'm so glad this is being filmed and it's going to be on YouTube.
And we did loads of research to find that clip of you, that one clip of you to do. Oh, bless. Speaking of gig stories, in fact, we were chatting about this. The last time that we gigged together, I think, was in Edinburgh 2 years ago. And as a comedian, we won't mention his name or anything, but we've all been there. He was on stage. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Grainne. It wasn't Stephen Allen. It was another comic, and he was on stage. And this is the thing that comedians go through, where you kind of naturally want to finish on a massive laugh. And speaking of frosty audiences, that audience weren't giving him that big laugh, and he just kept on going and waiting for that laugh until it was like 25 minutes later. He was only supposed to do 5. The guy still did 25 minutes. This is
like the reading. It was like listening to the reading of a will where everybody was realizing they were getting nothing. That was his experience on stage, but he kept going, and we could hear his thought process. He was like, no, okay, I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to, and he was not going. It was like a David Attenborough documentary, just seeing a creature fight for its life and know it was doomed. It was never getting away.
And here he is, the young comedian, trying to finish on a laugh. Nope, didn't get it. He's still there. It's like the Blue Planet, all over the entire series. He basically done the entire series. It's so good. It's so good to see you, Grainne. It really, really is. What have you been up to during lockdown? It's been so long. Tell me what you've been doing.
Jay, it's been so busy for me work-wise. Really busy for me. I've basically stand-up comedian, writing for television, glamour. Now, I'm a chandler. I'm a candle maker.
You're a chandler. You make candles.
Look at that. That's good. That's hard to get. Let me tell you, if we've any chandlers on the call, they will appreciate. No bubbling, no cracking.
Wow.
A bit of funneling. Okay, but that is a smooth, good candle there.
I'm so glad you've embraced modern day technology and you've actually gone backwards. You've actually started making your own candles.
I've seen where the world's going, and I think I need some basic trade skills. So
comedy is dying on its ass, people. We are now having to make candles. This is the thing now. Oh, bless you. No, so yeah, I'm guessing like you like candles. That's why you got into this. Have you burned the place down?
It's an everyday luxury, and especially when you're stuck at home, my idea is I want to create the vibe of early 90s Madonna pop video. So if I'm making the candles, I don't have to feel guilty that I'm literally burning money. So if I have access to the supply, I can get high on my own supply. So I'm making the candles.
Oh, this is beautiful. Oh, this is beautiful. You're taking it back. You're taking it back. You're bringing it back. You're becoming your own industry. This is it. I love it. You're not going to make a candle smelling of your bits, are you? You're not going to do
This is shaped like my vagina, so that's what I've gone for instead.
Really?
That was the mold.
Really? Is that lavender? Is that lavender? I can smell it. Oh, it's so good. And St. Patrick's Day was yesterday. How did you celebrate?
Well, I was stuck. I was held hostage in this country by an Englishman. Jay, it's terrible. I've fallen in love with one of you English people, so I'm stuck here. So,
people.
I'm stuck in the United Kingdom for St. Patrick's Day, so it's terrible. So my sister had a baby just before Christmas, and she's a sneaky little witch, and she's used the excuse of I need to travel for childcare, and she doesn't. She's a liar, but she used that to get on the plane. So she's in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day, and I'm stuck here.
Oh.
None of my family are doing. I'm the only one of my family doing lockdown seriously. It's so annoying. I don't know if I even told you this. My mum has been getting backstreet haircuts all the way through lockdown. She stopped doing Zoom calls. We used to do a family Zoom call every Saturday. My mum and dad started ghosting us because this is not a lie. They had so many 60th birthday parties last summer. One time my mum got so day drunk, she couldn't do the phone call. And she's been getting her hair done the whole time through lockdown. Her friend has a hairdresser, sort of like bit, in her house. My mum, I think 2 weeks ago, she got her time of an appointment wrong. She climbed over the hedge to get into the woman's house. She wasn't there, and then she had to climb over the hedge again so she wouldn't be spotted.
Oh, this is brilliant. I can see the headlines now. Grainne Maguire sends loaded candle filled with dynamite to parents' house. I can see it now. I can see
Little shits.
Oh, this is so lovely talking to you. I guess like you know, both of us know stand-up has been horrible over the last year and so on and so forth. And you know, look, this year, who knows? There may be an Edinburgh Fringe, there may not be an Edinburgh Fringe. Hopefully next year, if all the numbers kind of hold up. What do you think is going to happen with stand-up? I miss it. I hugely miss it. But what do you think is going to happen with stand-up next year?
I hope, my wish would be, I think for so long, so the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, it's so good, and there's amazing people like the Laughing Horse providing an incredible platform for people to put acts on, shows on every year, and I think that's incredible. But I do think there are other people in the industry who make so much money off acts going up and feeling under pressure to perform there every year, and I think it's just become unsustainable. If I can speak, and it makes me so angry when I see certain venues who make so much money every year, then doing like crowdfunders to help them survive. And you're like, you make all the money. If you can't survive 1 year with no festival, with all the money you make from acts for like the past 20 years, you need a better business model. Horse shit. So I think the fact that over the last year, obviously everybody missed live gigs, but you've got all these people doing amazing stuff online. It's just created so many more opportunities, and you don't have this stupid situation where the entire London media head to Edinburgh for 3 weeks and go and see the same 10 acts. Like, what is the point? So if it sort of takes the pressure off Edinburgh for everybody, I think that would be a very good thing.
I think this has been something that's kind of been seething throughout Edinburgh, the Fringe, certainly for over the last 15 years, as long as I've been doing it. The money's kind of concentrated in one part of it, and audiences, I think now, because of the like free festival, people migrate over and now actually take a punt, and quite a few of the people who kind of watch this show kind of sit there and see it. So I'm totally there with you. Fuck them, who cares if they're broke? I hope they've got government handouts.
It's so disgusting. I genuinely felt ill. I saw certain venues looking for people to give money to help them survive. And I was like, that is literally disgusting. Like, of all the bits of the comedy industry, the most exploitive bit is the one we have to worry about saving. Oh God, would anybody think of? Oh yeah.
No. I love having chats with you. This is one of my, exactly. There you go. Exactly. Reflected by our audience as well. One thing I always love having a chat with you, Grainne, because you have such a lovely, sweet Irish accent. It's amazing, but you're such a good storyteller. You are just a very natural storyteller, and you shocked me yesterday when we had this conversation that you took a storytelling course.
Yes,
it's like you're natural at it. What on earth happened? Who was this guy?
So basically, over, like most of us, I had a nervous breakdown, midlife crisis over the summer. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll just like learn other skills. Sure, I've got my candle making to fall back on. That's that's my new plan B. But other strings to my personality bow. So I decided to do these online storytelling courses, and I was so smug because I was like, oh please, like, stand up with all the jokes taken out. Like, it's not going to be hard. I just thought all I'd have to do is like get really serious and then go. And then I realized I thought it'd be piss easy. I really thought I was very, very smug, really feeling myself going on that course. I was really bad at it, really bad. But there was two other people. I didn't even tell you. I don't think I told you about the first one. There's this woman, and she was quite like, she's very earnest and very serious. And she was, the person running the course was like, has anything interesting? Like, have you met anybody? And she went, oh, well, I'm from Chicago and my mother works. And she told this really long-winded story about her mother, met this sort of community organizer, and she thought he's really good. Basically, halfway through the thing, we all collectively realized she was talking about Barack Obama. I've never seen a Zoom call change so quickly. It was like we were all twigging. Hang on a sec. She said at the start she was from Chicago. Her mother's a community organizer, and we went from being really bored to her band was friends with Barack Obama. And there was I thinking, I'll just say something about, a gig that went wrong or something. She was like, oh yeah, I went to the inauguration and it was loads of fun.
This is what I love chatting to you. We meet up every year during Edinburgh at some gig or something, and we always like sit around and have a chat. Do stick around. We've got plenty more fun and games to go until. I could chat to you all night. It's absolutely lovely. But let's bring back all the others and let's go for it. So yes, there's Dave. There's Michael.
Before we go any further, something I do have to ask. Thank you, everyone, as well, that's been in the comments. If you've enjoyed this, give us a like. If you've enjoyed it even that much, please share it. Thank you so much to Hammond, to Jay, to Dom, to Tom, to Liam. But before we move on, Grainne, a question from JC Scapades. Is there a body slumped over the high stool behind you?
It's her mum's hairdresser. It's her mum's hairdresser.
Just imagine what would have happened if that actually, you picked up and it actually was like a dead carcass, and that was how she was found, folks. Well, now that we've found that Grainne is indeed not a manslaughter, what we thought is to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, what better way to do it than an Irish quiz. There it is. That's the great thing. I ran out of breath. So, our Irish quiz, what we're going to do is you all claim to be Irish. Do we believe it? Oh, well, we're going to find out. I think it is Vlad that is going to be the first to put you on trial.
Round one is Irish phrases. Now, bear in mind that I'm only a quarter Irish, and I've only known I was a quarter Irish for roughly 20 years. So, are these phrases, you can say it's a real phrase or made-up phrase, and if you know it's a real phrase, what does it actually mean? Some of them are easy, some of them are not. Right, first one.
Do we just answer straight away? Or?
Yeah, Pog Mahone.
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
Kiss my arse.
That's real, isn't it? Yep. What does it mean?
Kiss my arse.
Kiss my arse, exactly. Well done, yes.
Sorry, Gordon.
Because I set it. Here we are. Gav na Heffron. Is that right?
Gav go Heffron. I'm suspicious. I think go. I don't think go is an Irish word.
No, I don't think
you've
I've
just
never
put
heard
a
of
load
it.
of. You've just put a load of consonants together, and you thought you'd trick us. But
and Heffron sounds like Aaron, but it's not. No, I think that's false. Yeah, you're right, Grainne.
No, that is real, and it means go to hell. Yeah, it means go to hell.
Hey, the Irish for go isn't go. We have our own word, for fuck's sake.
I got this. I got this off the internet. It might not be the Irish internet. It might be the English internet. I got it off.
Either you're bullshitting or somebody's bullshitted you, Vlad.
I think somebody's bullshitted me.
I mean, okay, we haven't got Gaelic for helicopter. We have Gaelic for go, though.
I'll tell you what. If two Irish people say this isn't a real phrase, it's not a real phrase. So well done, you're both right.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
And finally, final phrase, drink fat girls.
Yeah. That is
That's
W.B.
English.
Yeats. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, I think that's 3 each.
Very good. Very good.
Well done.
Well, next up we've got Jay.
Now, this is testing. Obviously, Ireland is an island, so this is how well you know Ireland. So these are 3 celebrities, and you have to tell me whether they were born in Ireland or not born in Ireland. Okay, so here we go. Obviously, Ireland's a small country. You all know each other. Obviously. Here we go. Yeah, so the first one is Jimmy Carr. Was he born in Ireland or not born in Ireland?
I told me he was born in Ireland. I think his dad is Irish.
Yeah, Grainne, what do you say?
I think this could be a sneaky one where he was born in Ireland. I think he was. I'm going to say he was because I think there's a twist to it.
In fact, he was, born in Limerick.
Really?
He was
Wow.
born in Limerick, and then he moved to England when he was a toddler. And
Wow,
ironically, you could write a little
He
Limerick.
moved to England for tax reasons.
Grainne, you said you had an English boyfriend. You said you had an English boyfriend. It's not Jimmy Carr, but it is. Therefore, you're barred from answering the question.
That's how I have this fancy kitchen. It's because I'm a Jimmy Carr's friend.
With a dead body in it. That's what it is.
Okay, I accept defeat anyway. I accept defeat for that question.
There was a young comic from Limerick whose tax returns were a bit of a gimmick. There you go. Our second celebrity.
Bank offshore.
Our second celebrity. Here we go. Is Mel Gibson.
Well, all I can say is that
born in Ireland or not born in Ireland?
He definitely wasn't. If he was, it's a fucking shame.
Yeah.
Grainne?
I don't think any village would claim him, so I'm going to say, and I think he would have heard about it non-stop if he was born in Ireland.
Yeah.
There would have been a whole like late show special about it. So I think he wasn't.
You are both correct. Yeah, you are both correct. He was born in New York. He moved to Australia, but his mother was actually Irish, so he does have an Irish passport. This is absolutely true. Google's fantastic.
I knew his mother. She was a fucking idiot as well.
Brilliant. They all know each other. And our final celebrity. Yes,
he was definitely born in Ireland.
He's born in Navan. He's from the town I'm from.
Yes. Is he really?
3 out of 3. Yes, he was born in Navan.
So I have a really quick Pierce Brosnan story in Navan, really quick. He came back to Navan for an event, and my auntie served him in the local hotel for dinner, and she went over to him and she said, "More carrots, Mr. Bond?"
Did he laugh?
He was lovely. He was like, oh.
Well, I didn't know he was from Navan because if he's from Navan, you're from Navan. Also, Tommy Tiernan and Dylan Moran are both from Navan, I think.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Activity.
I was subsequently say as well, it's going to be so long since the next James Bond is filmed. That's what it's going to be like. Would you like your carrots pureed, Mr. Bond? It's going to be, you need your philosophy back changing, Mr. Bond. We are going to get on to our final one of the quiz so far tonight. So I have, what I thought is I'd inject a little bit of class and culture into the proceedings, a little bit of geography. So I want to know, which one of these is not a true Irish town? Is it Muff, Cum, or Bitchborough?
Well, Muff is, and there's actually a bog in Muff. You can go diving in Muff if you want, because there's a bog there.
We watched your video, Gromway. We know that you can go diving in Muff if you want, and then you forgot.
I think Muff is a genuine Irish village, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Bitchborough. Bitchborough sounds like somewhere in Australia. Yeah, I think Bitchborough is not an Irish name.
Somewhere in Leitrim or something, maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm going to go for Muff.
You're absolutely right, Brian. It's actually Dixborough that is in Ireland. So well done. You have won the Smoky Bacon Tato. But let's see who's going to win the top prize tonight. It is the show that follows this one in 2 minutes on Channel 4. I don't know why I'm advertising it. They've never booked me. It's Masktasker. There it is. So, Masktasker this week to celebrate the Irishiness that we love. We are going to ask you, who is the fastest to drink a pint of Guinness through a face mask? Now, Jay is going for Budweiser. That's very nice.
They didn't have any.
Can I have a second to get it? I forgot about this. Can I have a second to get a beer off my son? Is that okay?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay.
I panicked and poured this too quickly.
Oh.
I panicked. I was like, it's starting. Oh God.
Hey, while we're on the subject, while we're on Masktasker, my girlfriend, as I say, is from Northern Ireland, just outside of Belfast, and I got in a lot of trouble recently because I was doing a radio show, and I was talking. They were talking about face masks, and I said, "Well, my girlfriend's Northern Irish, and they've been wearing full face coverings in public for years, and got kicked off the show." So there we go, and I'm probably going to get kneecapped when I go back there. So let's do this. This is wonderful. So for anyone that is joining in now, thank you very much for all of the comments. Please keep them coming. And don't forget, it's not too late to donate. But for our final bit of the show, what we're going to do is we're going to find out who
genuinely actually drink through the mask.
A pint of Guinness through
I've got a very
mask.
bad mask.
Is it okay if it's not a full pint full glass?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, anything goes.
Okay, sorry.
On your marks, get set, go. I think I can see Jay is flagrantly like that is appalling on so many levels. The Budweiser and the drinking under. I can see Grainne, this accidentally pouring of the head has actually worked out very much in her favour because all she's doing is just pouring it into her mouth. Poor old Michael is waterboarding himself. I think someone needs to check in on him
You
because
can actually drink through the mask.
Whereas Vlad looks like Shane McGowan, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. It's a homage.
I tell you what, Dave, this mask is so shit. I can actually drink through it.
Well, you know what?
It's a totally porous face covering. So this is a super spreader mask.
I'm not going to lie. This is not how I imagine the show to end. But we don't want to keep you fine people's time. We have got something really exciting to finish the show. We always do our act plugs, and Grainne was saying that she's found this really incredible thing. It's called a parchment and pen. She thinks it's going to take off. Grainne, would you like to tell people what you would like to plug?
Never mind TikTok, Zooms, Twitch. It's all about newsletters. So go on my website, sign up to my newsletter. I promise I'm going to start it next week.
Oh, brilliant. She'll get pigeon post one day, guys. And finally, Michael, where can people go to get a birthday, a wedding, or a divorce message from you?
Go to Grainne's newsletter.
What a brilliant way to finish the show. Thank you so much to our guests, Michael Redmond, Grainne Maguire. It's been a pleasure you come in. Thanks to Vladimir McTavish, Jay Sodagar. I've been Dave Chawner. We'll see you next week. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.